Hello folks, today is June 21st. I am your happy healer for President Keith Landy, and we are now live. Sorry, it took a little bit later to come out today. Sometimes it does because we have serious business to do. This is about our country. It's about our people. It's very serious work. It's not just about a show or a program or a campaign. It's about getting things right. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. I've got the June 18th announcement videos that we finished up. I want to play those guys for you right up next. And it runs for about 12 minutes, and then I will be right back.
2020, and elect Happy Healer for your next president. HappyHealerForPresident.com. Make sure you check it out, HappyHealerForPresident.com. That's where you learn about love for humanity and love for each other. And that love is the way. This is a serious run, and you know that because of the subject matter. It's truth, the truth that they are not talking about. You have not heard this truth from anybody else, and that's why it allows me this opportunity to share with you now that truth. So this is my candidacy for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States of America, and it's a plea. And it's a wake-up call to our citizens. It's time to turn the page. It's time to bring in the new spiritual realm of humanity, love, and grace. We need that more so now than ever before. It's holding us back. But please, do not ignore the truth that I am sharing with you here today. We all have something here to learn. We have to support good people. It's great for our future. It makes sense. So go in, enjoy your time here. I'm not saying don't go see Trump or even stop supporting him. I'm just saying listen to me now. That is it. For truth. That is all we have to do. We have to start listening to one another. That's how love wins. And that's how unity happens. And I am your unity and love candidate. So buckle up, we have an interesting one here for you. And a story, you be sure to spread far and wide, please. Because this is our story. And I intend to share it all throughout my campaign. And dial in. Often, you'll have to when you're dealing with your Happy Healer for President, because these are truths that you've likely never heard before. And you know how that I know that you are so precious? Do you even know for a moment how I know that is so true? And why I know that is so true? And for what reason? We are going to get into that during my speech. And for sure, we are going to address the actual issues the American people are facing. I'm announcing for president, but not the same way that Trump is. I can't pull that off. I'm just one of you. That makes me the true people's candidate. I believe in the American ingenuity, the spirit and kindness that has made our country so exceptional among a community of nations. What makes the Americans so different, so special? It's you! It's each of us! And you are mad. And you have a reason to be mad. And we have been working for this, and we've been growing in the last 20 years using our human ingenuity to usher in all of the technological developments. And now who does that work for? More greed. More billionaires being made in the better times in America than ever before. But yet, the average man, how are you doing? They weren't asked for, they weren't needed, but they're virtually in every facet of our lives, controlling media, controlling what we say, and who says what to who, and they control Congress. They are the power, the elite, and the connected. If we ever hope to break their spell on us, the American people, so precious, so powerful, that the message that we have also has to be true and powerful and epic and pure. And those are the pillars of my campaign, and indeed the reason that I am running. You know how I know that I myself, precious, we all can use a mentor and a protege, somebody to help guide us to become successful in life, because that is my story too. And I get that about us. And I know the reality that so many middle-aged Americans today, that they themselves have always believed in the American dream. I was taught. And that we were just so optimistic about that dream. And it didn't happen. And many didn't even make it. It was possible, the dream was, and it could have came true. And that they could have gotten it done and paid for and helped the people. But they chose not to, and instead they chose greed, and now we are living in the aftermath of their greed. And we are going mad. We are going so mad. Just seeing the truth with your eyes from an honest broker of truth who cries out and says that's right, what is right, and the inner voice that says we can do better. This is next level truth. Come on a journey with me. You don't even have to leave your living room. You just have to transcend. You just have to realize the truth before your eyes. No longer be fooled. To live again. To love again. To rid our world of hate that we see that overtakes our lives every day. Because my story is one of the American people. And that's the story that we all need to be talking about, is the story of the American people and their salvation and the struggle for them. It never ends.
People are just worn out, you know?
I just gave him a contract. He said it was about the rain. I said, man, well, if you don't want it, you can sell it to somebody. He started going crazy.
So what'd you think, man, about the stuff I was saying?
I gotta hear it loud out here, man.
It's hard to hear, right?
It's hard to hear, yeah.
You should go to happyhealerforpresident.com and check it out.
Happy Healing?
Yeah, it's a Happy Healer. That's why it's tough, you know. I figure, I mean, what I'm doing is definitely newsworthy. I don't know if the news has caught on to it. Hopefully they have.
Here they come.
Gosh, I should have brought a lawn chair. How are you? Are you here to protest?
Yeah, but I'm just trying to get home now.
Oh, and now you're like all pooped out? Where was the gay protest at? It's over now?
No, it's still going on.
Is it? Because I was going to speak to him. Is it that far from here?
No.
Are you guys headed that way?
No, we're going home. We
Oh, yeah.
left from there, yeah. But it's still going on, yeah. 5-minute walk, 7-minute walk.
Yeah, I got all this with me. I'm trying to decide if I want to make that track. Take care.
You too.
Yeah, by the time they let out, people are just going to be running. How are you, man?
Be alright.
Yep.
You want to tell me why you're so sweaty? You working hard?
Yeah, man, I work very hard, bro. I ran from that side back to this side, then across the street. Then I sit here and I do speeches in between, so
Yeah?
I'm keeping myself damn busy, dude.
What
Running
your
hard.
speeches are?
I'm running for president.
You running for president?
Yeah, happyhealerforpresident.com.
All right.
You bet, bro.
When are you Republican?
A Democrat, running as a Democrat, yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah, I'm doing it because, man, this country, it just needs a better way forward. And really, there's too much hate. I'm tired in my own life, all the hate, and people, like friends, just going nuts. It's really reached every American at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm just over it. I think we can have better. And honestly, I think this opportunity might be just great for us, because it's really gotten everybody so pissed that I think you could
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
I think somebody may actually be able to do something like what I'm doing.
I think in a lot of ways President Trump was good
Yeah,
because he taught some bad shit.
yeah. I voted for him.
What do you-
I voted for him.
Yeah?
So I'm not out here just to like poop on Trump. I'm about love, man. I'm about love, and I'm about God, and I'm about even better living.
You're a Democrat and you voted for Donald Trump?
Yeah. Well, because I've seen this path. You know, I'm just doing the way my heart and the way, you know, I think that is right and that God is wants, and that I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Because we're headed towards times that actually are not what the people bargained for. Think about it. We have all these technological developments. We have right now the ability to do so much technologically. How is that working for the average American? Because we could have robots doing so many jobs and give an income for all. Tax those robots.
Tax the robots?
Tax the robots.
Tax the robots.
Yeah. And get the income for all for the people. Like, I got a real plan. That's why if you go to happyhealerforpresident.com, you'll see that's a real plan. It's no fake plan.
All right,
It works.
tell us who you are and when to vote for you.
happyhealerforpresident.com. I am Keith Landy, running for president because we need a better day in America and because you matter. And of course, you can go to happyhealerforpresident.com or keithlandy.com. Either will bring you there.
Nice.
Yeah, because we got a better day coming, baby.
Thanks.
God bless you, bro. Are you local? Yeah. You know, look me up. What's your name?
John Strong.
John Strong. Okay. You're an
And it's
awesome
John
dude.
Strong shows in Laferia, Texas. You'll see me lifting up this world. It's a graphic of me, JS, to say my belt buckle. I'm holding up this world's finest shows, it'll say. Click on that one because I got 3 Facebooks. And will follow me and I'll friend you. And stuff.
Awesome.
Put a
You really think that that's the right idea, right? It's like the right love. It's the right message, first off. People don't always like 100% of ideas ever. But if you get the right message, the right love, they know that your heart is right. They can trust you. They know ultimately that you want to lift humanity, that you're talking about a better life for us all. You can't even say to your daughter, go meet a boy. He's going to should get someone that's bad likely in this world. We just have to improve the world.
There you go.
My brother, God bless you, man.
God bless you. We'll see you soon.
All right, man. I will.
Our values. What you saw today is who Orlando is. It's who Florida is. It's what America is. We are diverse. We are unified. We are a community. We are gay and brown and black and trans and straight. And God damn it, we are Americans. And in 2020, we will evict Donald Trump. We win when we are together. We win with our unity.
Why would you be running for president? Don't you love Trump? Because this isn't about Trump. It never was about Trump for the people who voted Trump. It's about us. People, the other side. Well, in this case, the other side. I only see Americans.
What Trump's not. It's really because
There's a lot of things I continue just the way he did. And toughness, you gotta have. You could be both loving and winning. I've done it in my own personal life. You could be loving, and that's the part Trump fails in.
well,
He could be a lot more. He got to be the unity candidate. Use that strength. You want to use strength? Fire them up, but make them unified.
well, the problem you got is that the left-hand press makes its living by making us disunified.
Yeah,
Break it up into this.
that's true.
gay group,
My brother,
black group, and green group.
you're right. That's why I don't see all that. I'm gay. I don't even see all that. I just see God's people. And you know, you say, why in our with a church? As a gay guy, they killed God for me once. I'm not letting them do it again. I love people who love God, and we have so much in common, but we all need to do better at the love thing. Stop the judgment. God made us all. God made us all. And when you judge someone else, you turn them away from God. You're saying that I speak for God, and when I'm telling you that God, what God thinks of you is that you're crap. And then they're like, wait.
We all sin.
Yeah, we all sin. Right.
The difference is that when you're a Christian and you have the Spirit, God takes the sin away.
Right.
He doesn't take it away
It's not meant to be even all taken away. We're never supposed to be perfect here. We're supposed to love, and that love was perfect.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Awesome, 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 awesome. How you guys doing? It's your President Happy Healer here, and I am loving you guys. Oh yeah. I'm eating my beef jerky. And between time and space, whether you're here right now, some of you are, or whether you're going to be here later, doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, so the world is blowing up, huh? It's June 21st, 2019. In case the future archives in the new world after the Civil War, in case they want to check up on this video vlog, they'll know that President Happy Healer was trying to fix things before they went all to hell. You just never know, huh? Because I'll tell you, sometimes the darndest things would survive the end of the human race. And do you know on these discs, they last for 200 years. On the SDs, those memory, I learned so much about computers and memory cards. You know, after this presidential run, I'm going to be so busy running for president, and so focused on the people and the things I love most about the people and about the humanity and about the country. I'm looking forward to that, actually. But aside from that, when I'm done with that, you know, life is about service. You never stop giving back. That's the whole purpose. People say, well, what would you do? Where would your purpose come from if you didn't have a robotic job that a robot could have? So we better not get robots then. President Happy Healer laughs. I say, well, here's how that works. You get to go spend time with your family. Hoo-ha! How about that, baby? You can actually work on your marriage. Instead of marriages failing, 50% of them in America, maybe we can do better. And that we can focus on the education of our children, of ourselves. Learning never stops. Learning never stops. And the day that learning stops, boy, that's a sad thing. We need to keep learning forever. I don't even think we should ever stop learning. Unless for some reason you don't want to keep experiencing. Learning is discovery. And that's the amazing part. So we're going to be on a discovery quest. Time now is 10:14 p.m. Welcome. My name is Keith Landy, running for President of the United States. We have plans that will work for America's future. We are running because those plans are due to the American people. Overdue. So we have a play-by-play book that we are following for the American people, for their success, and so that we can bring about the new vision. The world has had an enlightenment once before, and it has needed it now for quite a long time. This is how you solve racism. This is how you solve the problems in humanity. In the humanities, you know, you've taken it in college. It's a big deal. And this will solve it. Where a lot of things fail, this will work because it's based on systems that work. You know, we actually have systems that work too. And we have to dial into the professionals and we have to get their input. But make no mistake, your happy healer walks in with a vision. I just don't want to be pig-headed about it. And we have to be very serious about the end result. And because our experiences matter so much in the new world, the means is part of it. You know, the experience and the journey is part of it. and that we become better and stronger from every experience that we have. That's right. And anything short of that, we're selling ourselves short, and we're selling our families short, our parents and our children. We could do so much better, and we have to have courage, and we have to believe. We have to believe that we can bring in this world. And we can, folks. And we can. And we can. Let me tell you. And by the way, I come armed with facts every time. You know that about your Keith Landy, Happy Healer for President, because people want facts. They want truth. They can sense truth. And that's all I work with is truth. Oh, and by the way, we are working on, because of course God has given us the ability to do media, we have worked and planned to make videos and media a staple of our candidacy, and to use art to get the point across. Yes, we're using the full spectrum of the Landy Mantic's brands of passions. Oh, so then if you have not heard, I have not talked about that in a very long time. And, well, my passions are still here. They didn't go anywhere. And that's what we're building up inside this whole country, isn't it? Because people matter. And that's why I'm running. God has uniquely made me qualified for this position, and that's why I'm running. It's a sudden realization. As they say, an epiphany. You just realize that you are uniquely qualified more so than anybody else. And you so step forward. And you say anybody else that feels so qualified, step forward. Let's have lively debates. That is how we improve the spirit and the conditions and the prosperity and the prospects for every single American. And that is how you rise the tide in America. And we plan on bringing in a new economy. We have ideas for a vibrant new economy based on new technologies and emerging artificial intelligence and so much more. We have all of these things every day, getting into the science and getting into the strategy of how this world can make a better place for humanity, a reality for the American people. And remember, if we don't take these steps now, there may not be a shot in 5 years to do this. I mean, we have already lost so much time because this dream could have already been delivered to the American people. But we're just misallocating our resources, and we're not putting love where it belongs. And by the way, when you say and put stock and value into humanity, you are saying in bold ways to every single living human being in this country that you matter. To the law of the land, you matter. In that your brothers and sisters, which is the way they will feel at that point, they matter too. You matter also. We all matter. Your happy healer president wants to be a good son to America. He doesn't want to be your condescending candidate like all those other candidates. No. He wants to be a good son to America. He wants to make you proud. He wants to work hard, because that's how we all need to be doing. This is not about laziness, saying we need an income for all. This is about demanding we have our time back and we can live lives worthy of living. And that we can do so much more, and that through our passion and love, we will be so much more productive. And that right now we are wasting so much in the way of resources. People spending hours and hours in buildings away from their families, doing nothing. Justification of a paycheck, completely and utterly ridiculous. And this doesn't stop there. They're trying to pull back in more factory jobs when we're going into a new future. And if we continue trying to pull back on this future, we're going to have other countries that surpass us, the United States of America, over the happy healer's dead body, because we are focused and we are the American people. And that if we don't do it and our politicians aren't doing it, well, then shame on us. But we are doing it, and we're saying what it is, and we're quite clear in that endeavor. and we always will be. We'll be very honest in our approach, and we'll be so pure. Because when you remove greed and you remove hate and you put love back in, you don't have to be perfect. It just brings back your innocence because you just have a source of goodness about you. We have to build a higher society, folks. That's where the promise lies. You can't fix all these other issues with more and more hate and clamping down on freedoms. That's not the way to fix these issues. This is common sense, folks, and you know this is the truth. But yet this is where we're marching, and we're marching ever so fast. So my candidacy, Keith Landy for president, we are focused on freedoms. We're bringing the Democratic Party, and we're making it the Freedom Party. We're making it the Kind Party. And we're making it the Loving Party. And we're making it the Tolerant Party. That's right. Tolerant once again. Because tolerance is so important. And while we get, every single time we get it right with blacks and gays and minorities, well, we just have to do the same thing with religious folks and just all the way down. We just have to have love in our hearts, and we just have to bring a unified country together, strong, working for a future that's worthy of living. And that's how I put it, because anything else is simply not worthy of living. And that's where depression comes from. That's where drug addiction comes from. That's where many of the problems that all of the time we face and see that really cause depression. No, we don't want to inspire depression. We want to inspire lives. It's just so true. So you might be asking, well, Mr. Happy Healer, you know, some of the things you say really sounds like pie in the sky. Are you sure that you're on to truth? Well, let me tell you something. I am so positive I am on to truth. I will do nothing but inspire confidence as your president and make this process just so fun. I see it as being so fun and so clear. Of course there would be no problem getting there. It is just that clear, and the things and the ideas and the ways we get there would be just as clear. We can get down and dirty in every little aspect because God is not left. And that's my view. That is my view. You can have your view. That's fine. Great people do great things all the time for slightly different reasons. We just have to realize how to come together and capitalize off of those reasons to win together. Otherwise, we all fail together. We're in a civil war. The world is falling apart. The life is not worthy of living. Your daughters and kids, you want nothing but abortions. This world is not worthy of bringing them into. And, well, like I said, you bring in the compassionate world that we all just want to live in and really value humanity. Well, then you have something special, don't you? Let me tell you something. People who think that chasing wealth is the answer is not the answer. God also prepared me for some answers and some hard truths in this reality as well. And that it doesn't serve us. It really does not. Money does not serve us like that very well. Because you could even have a lot of money and still find yourself falling so short of what you need to retire with, or what you even need to feel comfortable with, or if you have a rainy day or something bad happens. And what about your family or your friends or the people who don't have things? And then you find yourself sometimes being taken advantage of. You don't know who your true friends are. You can't find a great mate that just wants your money. And if you don't have money, you can't even find a great mate because you don't have money. And so we just have our whole system backwards. And you love that? I think not. And I think we have way better ways that we all are yearning for. We know it's the right thing to do. And we know that we can do it if we just look at here. It's so clear. Perception has raised all of what we see around us. Creation is what our Creator's main, the way I see it, role is. And we are made in His image, I believe, that we're creators. We create all the time, don't we? This whole world around us is our creation of our Creator's creation. Does that make sense? And that this world is so fabricated. You know what I mean? It's so fabricated, and that's okay. We built it. It's beautiful. It's a gift. It's great. It's wonderful. It's so great. And we just have to be so thankful in that reality and realize that we actually have cushion. That cushion is all around us. That's the creation, including yourself. And science even says that the world we live in could very much so be a something right out of a science fiction movie. I think like Matrix even. That there's so many indications that the universe could be an electric universe. And it makes sense. God's miraculous ways could certainly use many methods about creation, right? And then so why would we put any value on anything other than to say we are grateful to be alive? There is nothing to be afraid of. You've got your happy healer. And that with that comes knowledge. And it's just knowledge we can all make sense out of. Not knowledge that's pie in the sky. This is just plain in your face facts. When I say there's a God, I say, oh, well, then because look at us, we exist, duh. The evidence of the creation is in our presence. And that, well, we must be God's favorite because we're at the top of the food chain. So he must love us. And that love must be a pretty big deal because it's our main motivating factor. And so, it's just common sense. It's just common sense all the way through. That's the happy healer lifestyle. That's how you get so excited. That's how you get so in tune with your fate. And that I believe you have one. I believe each and every one of us have one. And that right now we're not living it. I'm living it, but man, this is just me. If we can all get on track of living a life worthy of living, then there's people in this life that you can really attach to in a meaningful way and experience. And that is what we're growing. Special opportunities and movements for our people. And we want to build them up. And we know that this is the only viable way forward. You see, an argument for this life back in the 90s, people would have said, first off, Apple iPhones like the one I have right here wouldn't exist. This was science fiction, even in the 90s. They would say it's pie in the sky, and despite the fact that it's all just common sense and based on my own belief / coping mechanism / science, even science says and leaves a lot of room for God. And that there's also, by the way, and I'm not talking about him a lot, but I will, I'm not afraid to talk about him, are the phenomena that's happening in the world, which is fine. I mean, we don't have to worry. It's just more proof that the world is a complicated place. And so we do need serious people that have their marbles together in that world. And, the people that are so naive to believe everything, and then they'll look at somebody who questions something, or they're beyond questioning it. They're on to new solutions. They're on to the answer. And yet you still have people that don't know there's a problem. And they're looking at the people who are beyond the problem and standing with the answer and say that you're nuts. Well, that's just indicative of the upside down world we live in. But that's fine too, because even as that stands true, truth is a powerful thing. And any truth that I give you is always straight truth. Straight truth, meaning you can bend it, but you can't break it. Bending is possible in life. There's this balance that God has put into our ability. That's how we maneuver. That's how we manage our way through problems. Because nothing is so rigid unless we make it, or unless we lack imagination. That's the creator in us. Well, folks, I would like to show right now a video of senators receiving a classified briefing on UFO sightings. So then you tell me that I'm crazy, right? So the world is a complicated place. There's a lot of things happening. We have new technologies that are benefiting people with nefarious agendas, or not with the agenda that benefits us, that's for sure. And in the meantime, we're missing out on the great new world that would make us so ascended in so many ways. And we've already had one. Remember that. The first one already came. This would be the second. So, you have an age of an enlightenment, and people in society go from barbaric ways to new ways. They're kinder, they're more civilized, That's what we need to do. That's a modern world that we're talking about. That's not a religious nut movement. Although we believe in our Creator and we are eager and steadfast and we love that Creator, we feel, many of us do, and we're not afraid to admit that our Creator has provided all of this for us, but that it's okay that because if we come together, even people that are good-willed, together with people who love God, that love is the motivating factor, not judgment. So it doesn't matter. Nobody's judging. It's nobody's room to judge. That actually, judging is a fool's errand because nobody knows. It's just like I tell you what God is and the things that I don't know. God is definitely an entity that I will never fully 100% know, except for I'll have hunches. But the things I share here would be the things I know for a fact. And I have hunches beyond that, which I'll share on with friends that I'm kind of just talking about what might be and this kind of thing. But outside of that, we have to have these views where we kind of step back a little bit and we come out of our own predicament and we approach it without being triggered. And that's something I teach a lot because people, they can't even watch a particular subject for too long. They become triggered. Their heart rate goes up. They find themselves becoming angered and they can't hang on anymore. So they got to sit down and take a break or they're going to lose it. That's a bad thing. And that's what a lot of people are going through right now. And that's one of the things that I really feel we need a happy healer for this country. And that's why I feel like, once again, in just yet another way, I'm the only one that's really qualified to be America's next president, yet I'm an unknown, just ordinary American. All the more fitting I should be. We need some change like that. So let us put Erin Burnett from CNN on. Yeah, we're not really pushing CNN, but she is talking about the UFOs. And I want you guys to hear this. So here she is up next. Da-da-da-da.
Is something really out there? 3 more U.S. senators received a classified briefing about UFOs at the Pentagon, or in current lingo, unidentified aerial phenomena. You may have heard that pilots and other military personnel have been reporting these kinds of sightings for years. A couple weeks ago, the Department of Defense even released footage shot by a Navy Super Hornet pilot. But you may not have known that back in 2007, Congress directed the Pentagon to set up a $22 million search for the truth. And Tom Foreman is with me more on the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program. So Tom, talk to me about these senators getting classified briefings on UFOs.
Yeah, well, here's the interesting thing. It's easy to laugh at this, easy to think it's silly or it's just a bunch of hokum out there. But Senator Mark Warner, who is the vice chair of the Intelligence Committee, said, look, I think it's important. He told us just this afternoon, I think it's important that the military is taking this more seriously now than they did in the past. So what are they taking seriously? Those videos you were talking about relate to a couple of different sightings we're talking about. In 2004, there was one called the Tic Tac sighting. They called it that because they said it looked like a Tic Tac flying out there very close to the water on the West Coast. And then more recently, there were some out on the East Coast that people were talking about, 2014, 2015, where these pilots were describing seeing these things up to 30,000 feet in the air, flying at extraordinary speeds, hypersonic, well over the speed of sound, changing direction in the most astonishing ways, and seemingly defying the laws of physics. Listen to what one of these pilots had to say.
No distinct wings, no distinct tail, no distinct exhaust. It seemed like they were aware of our presence because they would actively move around us.
So that's what has everyone excited here. These reports, the release of these videos, and you mentioned the program. That was originally started by Senator Harry Reid because they said, look, we just need to know what's going on. It only lasted about 5 years. It's been shut down for a number of years. And they said they really didn't find anything. But Brooke, you know, the obvious question here is there something out there? Not necessarily extraterrestrial, but is there something else? Some kind of drone? Some kind of secret technology, something that maybe we control, maybe we don't.
So, yeah, maybe they'll get to the bottom of that. I know that in April, the Navy actually issued guidelines for pilots to report any sightings of the unidentified aerial phenomena. Are you surprised this kind of information is now getting out to the...
What do you guys think about that? Leave that in the comments if you heard this part of it. What do you think about that? Like these sightings. And then President Trump spoke on it too, so let me put her back on. I think they put that part up soon here.
To the public.
Well, I think it's been a long time in coming, Brooke. I mean, this is the sort of thing back early in my reporting career, some 30, 40 years ago, you would hear about. But at the time, it was just sort of released as a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists with a bunch of ideas out there and people taking pictures of an odd-shaped cloud in the sky. I'm not really surprised that we're finally getting to the point of looking at this more carefully, and particularly, Brooke, when you think about the technology we're dealing with today. We're dealing with technology that we really haven't seen before.
All right, do you hear that? Technology we haven't really seen before. And you know it's true, so do I. And we're going to be covering on tonight's show. It's going to be a little bit of a longer one. That's why it took a little bit longer to come on tonight. But we also have more coverage where I'm going to be showing you just how true it is where we're headed in technology. I mean, some of you have not been paying attention, but I've been studying this stuff. And in some ways, I just have insight that is a coincidence, has struck my interest, and well, here I am. So that's just something.
Remember, when the first stealth fighters came out, there had been pictures of these things taken from very far by civilians saying there's some kind of strange aircraft out here that we've never seen before. Eventually, we found out what it was, but initially it was just a mystery. So I think for a lot of people who aren't looking for space aliens, this is still very interesting because they're saying, is it something, even if it's not space aliens, is it something that will make a difference in the future? And again, is it something that the U.S. is controlling, or is this some new technology that somebody else has developed?
30 seconds, Tom. What has President Trump said about this?
And of course, it could be UFOs, or it could be the United States of America. There is so much technology that the ruling class has been holding from us, the folks who have had the ingenuity that made all of that possible.
You've got to listen to what President Trump said about it. It was really interesting. ABC asked him about it. Listen to his comment.
Well, I think our great pilots would know. And some of them really see things that are a little bit different than in the past. So we're going to see. But we'll watch it. You'll be the first to know.
So the top levels of government, they're talking about it, Brooke. No answers yet, but a lot of questions.
Well. How about that? Happy Healer's not looking to pie in the sky anymore. And what I'm talking about is realistic. You know what would get me? These guys would see my plan and say, hey, this nobody over here in Orlando, Florida, he's making a lot of sense. Let's adopt that plan and let's run on that. Well, then we could at least say we're on the truth because I heard everything the guy says, and quite frankly, I would hate to have to debate those facts. And that's just so true. But the truth is, they won't be able to respond to the questions. I have all this stuff in my head. I don't know. It's just there. So we've got a real advantage in that way. And yeah, I did spend quite a long time in meditation. And yeah, that's not sitting in a corner, by the way. That's just kind of pulled back and doing a lot of reflection and a lot of study. I learned German during that time. I learned about history. I studied history for 3 years, and all about World War II, World War I, the Romans, the Greeks. Prior to that, I went to college. I went back to college because I did a whole career as a business person, and then I went back to college. And so there's been a lot of discovery there. And so I'm just uniquely qualified in a lot of ways. I don't mean to sound like I'm any better because I'm not. And that's the point, is we all just need to build each other up, and that we all have different areas. There's people that are far more talented than I in so many areas. And then, maybe I'm not as good at 2 or 3 things they do, but I do like 10 or 15 things really, really well. Like we all have these different advantages, and that when we come together in love and we solve our problems that way, using all of our passions and all of our abilities, that things are solved quite quickly. And that's what we're talking about when we say ushering in a new age. And it wouldn't be the first time. War has created very tight times when people had to react fast. And it's never when you're in the moment. You always think somehow you're going to survive. And then, okay, history proves that you die. And yeah, it's for everyone else to know the facts. But during the time when these people rallied to build the atomic bomb in Los Alamos, it was a city of 50,000 people all coming together. I told you I studied this stuff. I'm going to be sharing anecdotes in order to make our message clear. And 50,000 people all coming together, descending upon a city with the one goal of getting the nuclear bomb before Hitler did. And that if Hitler got it, or that if the Japanese somehow made it, then the West would be finished. As it was, before 1941, Hitler had already taken over all of Europe, with the exception of Russia and even half of Russia. So there was reason for them to be very concerned. He was the first with the V1 rocket, then V2, and the V2 actually went into low Earth orbit, coming back in at 3,500 miles per hour. They couldn't even see it. They just heard the explosion, didn't hear it, just the explosion showed up. It was sending London into terror. In fact, they said it was gas explosions at the time so that people wouldn't feel so scared. Those were the times that caused Los Alamos to get into action. And when they did, they were able to bring out the atomic bomb. Something that really has caused a big grave threat in America and in the world today. And that was an invention then that they felt they had to do, and they had to rush to be the next guy. And the truth is, that was really the age of the nuclear age. It started even before we had the nuclear bomb. They were already racing for it. And America was the first to have it. You better believe if it was any other country, that would have been it. They would have made a one world government right then, because it was possible if you have nuclear weapons and you're the only one with them. Can you believe America? I always question why they didn't do that, because they're the most righteous country out of all of them, but that's why they didn't do it. So when you're most righteous, so it actually proves in our actions that we can claim to be righteous. That's the America I grew up in and believed in. When people say that America's great, that's what I turn back to. Oh yes, your happy healer is a student of history as well. And well, I told you in my political classes, I've only made A's. And so we're going to be talking about that and inspiring about what our Americans that came before us have done and acknowledge their achievements. And then we will look at our politicians and the ruling class and those who are keeping us in this condition that doesn't work, and say why, when our parents have worked hard for this, that we could bring about an age that can really serve the American people. That right now there's already technologies that we don't know about, and you believe that's true because it is true. I'm still eating my beef jerky. So let us move now to Hannity, who also touches on this, and he's talking about Trump putting Iran on notice. I hope this is the part 2 where I think he mentioned a little bit about where technology is headed and stuff like that. And the thing is I want you guys to look for this kind of stuff too, or at least pay attention to it, because the criticism is going to be, oh, that's pie in the sky, you're talking about something that can't happen. When all we're talking about are 2 things. Mostly technologies that are already here and a change of our mind. Duh. Very simple. Other than that, we're saying quit wasting time. You already know so many people spend their lives sitting in buildings doing nothing, just justifying paychecks. You know, that's wrong. We need to really be more efficient and value our time. Our time is not money. Our time is so much more valuable. And don't let them trick you like that.
Welcome to Hannity. Buckle up. Tonight, all eyes are on the Middle East. Early this morning, a U.S. surveillance drone flying above the Straits of Hormuz over international waters. The Straits of Hormuz over international waters, shot out of the sky by an Iranian missile. This act of aggression, it's not going to stand. The president is putting the mullahs of Iran on notice tonight. They should be very, very worried. This was a bad idea. Take a look.
Iran made a big mistake. This drone was in international waters, clearly. We have it all documented. It's documented scientifically, not just words. And they made a very bad mistake.
How will you respond, Mr. President? How will you respond?
You'll find out.
Are you willing to make a war?
You'll find out. You'll find out. I mean, obviously, you know, we're not going to be talking too much about it. You're going to find out. They made a very big mistake.
Yep, Iran made a very big...
I'm just going to pause it there because all the other news stations continue to follow Trump, where he goes on to say, well, then again, let me go ahead and make an excuse for them. And oh, by the way, I kind of think maybe they actually did make a mistake. And that's what I was just saying. Yeah, like they actually erred. Whoops. Okay, that was anticlimactic. Hannity, you might just be representing that situation a bit off.
Big mistake, they will pay. But tonight, the president is clearly giving the mullahs an opening to pick up the phone and come clean and end their hostile behavior. I like that patience. What about all the liberals that said Donald Trump is rogue and we can't trust him? Okay, he's being very patient. Now, after a meeting at the White House, congressional Republicans, they released this statement. Quote, Iran directly attacked a United States asset over international waters. This provocation comes a week after they attacked and destroyed 2 commercial tankers in international waters. There must be a measured response to these actions. How do we define measured? President Trump does not want war. He said so clearly during the campaign. Not interested in another, years and years long international entanglement. I don't expect one. But in coming days, we will know if the mullahs are smart enough to take the opportunity, which is a small window. It may not even exist within 5 minutes. Because if they don't, the president will have no choice. He will bomb the hell out of them. No need for a long, protracted, boots on the ground kind of war.
Okay, let's just go ahead and comment on that because this is not even... Why are we here? First off, you'd never be here if it was your president, Happy Healer, because I would have walked into a White House that had the Iran deal, which, by the way, I would have seen Iran as still a very big threat. But we would be bringing about this new world. We're going to have technologies. We've got to mitigate our nuclear bombs, too, that are in this world. It's not just Iran. That's not the only threat. We can't be naive about the vast amount of threats. And we can't be naive about the really only way forward, which is to bring about a new way of thinking. If you don't, then you stay in the same failed system that you're in. And capitalism is great. I love capitalism. It's made me such a happy guy at different times. Not all the way through, and I've seen its flaws. And I really feel that capitalism has served its purpose. That it's taken us to a certain point, but that we need to really consider how we can get a system that rewards a higher order of being. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you coddle all citizens to a degree. That you say, you matter, and that you are cared for. Because when that's coddling is caring, it's nurturing. When you nurture your people, they grow like a plant, like a flower does, and they're strong and they're bright, and they're doing ever more the productive stuff, the things that really make humanity most special. So that's what we're fighting for. And that's the America that will be so great. Oh, and trust me, the days of hard work is far from long over. We're going to be working ever the harder. And you're going to be working on the things that matter to you. And our surroundings and other things. And, of course, we're going to have the same capitalistic society, that doesn't go away very fast. I mean, you've got to be really patient, because in a lot of ways I know the task at hand can be done. I know it's a versatile task. Not only can it be done, it can be done in multiple different ways. We just have to have the courage to do it. And because it could be done in multiple different ways, I could even be flexible and say, which way is better for us? Is it that we keep capitalism in the system? I really feel there's a lot of greed in there, in that we really have to be conscientious of what we're doing. What we're saying is people matter, in that everybody has a bottom. Everybody has a bottom that we will not let you fall under, because you matter. We're not going to let you be on the streets and dying and homeless. That's all that's saying. And that we're going to love you, because then we educate you too. That shows love. We give you health care. That shows love. That means you matter. And that when you do that, you build a whole new level of thinking. People, something will click in them, like it has in me. I've had a transformation. I'm not even the same person that I was always before. I am. I've always been me. Actually, for me more, it was discovering who I have always been the whole time. And that's what it is. But knowing who you are is a new thing. And so it feels new. And so it's deeply transformational for me. And that is why, like a dork, I say to the top of my lungs that I'm the happy healer. Because I just have to make sure you understand the transformation about it all, the journey about it all, and the realness. Because that's what moves, that's what works. You know, if it didn't work, I wouldn't be standing before you. Because I've had enough thrown at me that would knock me out. And many of us have. That's the experience and the story of the American people, and it's only because of their ingenuity that America stands today as the strongest country in the world, 5% of the global population, 25% of the global economy, and yet the American people are largely not far from being broke and destitute and depressed and suicidal and drug addicts and sick and dying and homeless and heartbreak, loneliness. It just goes on, and it doesn't need to be that way. And that's why I'm running, because we can all have a better life together. And that I know, if given the opportunity to debate these truths, these issues, this solemn promise to the American people, this gift from God, that we can unite the right to the left on a set of goals that are worthy for all. Yeah, we might have slightly different reasons, and we just have to be okay with that. And that's fine too, because what doesn't break us only draws us closer together. And that's how God's power works. So let's put us back to Sean Hannity, shall we?
We have the greatest military, thank God, on the face of this earth. We have the most advanced weapon systems, and a strong message needs to be sent that a huge price will be paid if you take on the United States of America. Simple peace through strength, and it works. In my strong opinion, it is imperative that we as a country develop what I call the next generation of military weaponry. We have learned from Vietnam.
Okay. Here he's getting into happy healer territory, huh? He's not going to say what I say, but watch what he does say. He talks about the need to step up with our military technology and the different things. I want you to hear him out really closely right now, because this touches on, and I wasn't sure if this video had it in there, but there goes the good old noggin. Thank you, God. And we got the right video when the time matters in the moment of truth, when you're here with me now. God bless you guys. Let's do this. Happy Healer for President 2020. And so he's going to be showing us exactly what he believes is true about our very soon future. Listen up to Sean Hannity.
Iraq and Afghanistan. Sadly, wars we get involved in quickly become politicized. They do not end as they should, with complete victory. We don't want our kids going door to door like they did in Iraq and then having Democrats saying, oh, come home, and then being told, never mind, we didn't mean it. America needs the single most advanced weaponry for all future conflicts. I'd much prefer we devastate our enemies from Tampa, Florida. That generation of weaponry is something we need to advance as a country quickly and expeditiously. Thankfully, tonight, we are in a new era. The weak, feckless Biden-Obama foreign policy is long dead and gone. There will be no late-night shipments of $150 billion in cash and other currency.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and flip it on back to your happy healer, because I think we're going to start getting into a lot of hyperbole there that we don't want really on our program. And here is what we are wanting, though. He said that we need the best weaponry quickly and expeditiously. And he also got political. He made some remarks about the Democrats, and he just began a whole diatribe that I guess won't end for the rest of his show now. So that's where people are. And the Democrats are there too. So we just need to pull back, my friends. Love you, Sean Hannity. I actually do. I like Sean Hannity. He's got some pretty good insights, but his mind is so infected. Everybody is so full of hate right now, and nobody's thinking clearly. And, well, some people are pulling back and they realize it's just so wrong, and they're just bewildered. And so many people are confused and lost. That's why we need a happy healer. That's why we need somebody to help inspire confidence and inspire some reality in one reality, some truth. And that's why you need to love. And that's why love is so important. And so they're talking right here. You see Sean Hannity. This is a grave, serious thing we have to consider about our future. We have to really get we have to do better. I mean, these guys around the world, Russia and some of these other countries, they're honestly looking at us and thinking, wow, they really don't have all this stuff we thought they had. That's what they're saying right now. We don't seem that sophisticated right now. We just don't. We just seem a bit lost and dumb, a little bit dumb. And, that's the thing. Trump's not inspiring the brilliance, is he? Not the way we would really hope, to be honest with it. And you're not finding a political person in me. So you got to realize that. And sometimes my Republican friends, you just got to realize that. You want to say something you think I get wrong? Well, then you come at me with the truth and let's debate that. Truth, and let's do it in a loving way, Like I said, what's more important to me is that we're correct. It's not so important that I'm right. It's important that we're right so that America's right for the American people and that we get the job done. And so it just so happens that I found a lot of truth. But if I get something wrong, my goodness, I need you to bring it to me. And I really don't think a lot of the things I'm saying on Trump I'm getting wrong. And I'm not coming from a place of hate. So it's really just what's left over. The same truths then that I know that my fellow Republicans deep down also already know. They don't want to hear it, though, if it's just hate, because Trump has really delivered a lot to the country for especially some of these Republicans who have for so long been actually forgotten, and with the fight and with the division and different things. So, and it's the same way with the Democrats. I mean, and really it's neither of their faults. They've been both a victim of the system. It's a bad system. It's one that says, let us get to the promised land through greed. Let us bribe everyone. And if you don't use bribery by the system of the law and you bribe outside of the law, well, then that's illegal, but otherwise bribery. Because that's really what greed is. If you say, hey, well, look, I know I couldn't get you to do something otherwise, but here's money, to do it. Well, then that's like, it's greed. And that's what greed is. It's appealing to a lower emotion. And, you have to get to a better place. And right now, we have lost stock, lost value in this country just from not doing the right thing for our people. And so we lose value. And that many problems arise and end up costing us so much in terms of lost human value, people dying, and in terms of people being in so much pain, losing their lives. This is what we will fix. And only somebody with a serious plan to solve those issues has any hope of making a better America for our country. And that's why I'm running. Because I'm actually a nerd, a bit of a nerd. I'm very dedicated to the things I do, and I love, and I'm flawed, and I'm just a human being. But that's fine too. We just all have to be a part of our own destiny. We just have to be so loving and so for sure in what we're doing, because what we're doing is out of love. When you do things with love, you can have fun. You could just do what you want to do because you know it's out of love, and love doesn't let you down when you marry it with truth. Because truth, together with love, is the roadmap. It's the roadmap. And it's the one that everybody wants to go away from, and that you can't even handle truth unless you have love. And you have to get rid of hate in your heart, or you can't even handle truth. So I'm your happy healer for president, and anything short of having a happy healer for president, we're never going to get to the goals that we all seek to reach. And that's the Democrats, that's the Republicans, no matter who you are. There's too much division on either side. The other guy's not going to let you in, and nor should he, because you're all playing in a greedy place. There's no justification on either side to do anything different. And what we're talking about doing is entirely different. So that's why I really think that my plan is the only viable plan. And in a debate, that would be my argument. And I want to hear their argument, the condescending candidate's argument. I really don't want to be them in a debate against your happy healer, that's for sure. Because we're prepared to take on the issues that are really affecting the American people while they can't even understand the issues. And that's the truth. And that would be the version of attack ad you will ever get from your happy healer for president, Keith Landy. Because when you have the truth, you don't need anything else. Okay, we're going to move on over to another video I want to share, and this is on Jussie Smollett. I did a report on Jussie Smollett going back a few months ago, and I just want to speak a bit to that report. And in that report, I said, Jussie, why did you do that, man? You invoked hate, bro. I love you, man. You're a fellow gay guy. Your happy healer's a fellow gay guy. And here you went out on the limb, and you let hate just destroy your life, didn't you, Jussie? You failed, man. You failed to be a happy healer. Had you did things the happy healer way, then, well, things would have gone a lot different for you, Jussie, and you wouldn't be in the problems you're in now, would you? And that was my advice to him. Of course, you know, I doubt he's seen it, but, well, for entertainment value, there it is. So time now, by the way, folks, is 11:04 p.m., Friday, 6/21. God bless you guys. I am your happy healer for president. Make sure you donate and get involved. So, Jussie, I said, where you went wrong is with your greed. When you allowed yourself to get so angry and you couldn't be selfless to say, well, maybe I'll just be humble in my hate today, you decided to hate harder. You made up a lie. You hurt the happy healer because I didn't do anything for it to you. And I'm a white guy, and there's a lot of white people, and we don't need to demonize anybody. Black people matter, white people matter, gay people matter, all people matter. And the thing about what we're saying here is that, quite frankly, we just need to really realize who we are on the inside, that when we're really all I see is the spirit. So I don't see black, white, and all this stuff, and I don't know if you see the way I interact with people, but I just look at them in the eye. I know who they are, their essence. If they're over the phone, I know who they are, and it really helps. And so if you want to get rid of racism, well, then find your faith and figure things out, because that if you do it in a healthy way, then you just love and you realize who you really are on the inside, and that then we're all cut from the same cloth. So, you know, truths matter. That's all that means. And that when you have that working in your life, you have a happier life, because understanding and value adds to your life and purpose. And that's what you gain from faith and peace of mind, because no longer are you lost. So that's really a good coping mechanism. You know, people say, why believe in a God? Well, if you say, I would like to not partake in all the hate and judgment that I've seen in religions, but I would like to partake in the love and truth, and the purpose and value, then what's wrong with that, folks? Because largely that is what the New Age spiritual movement is. And people are just looking at common sense and saying, what makes sense? What does science say again? What do all the facts say? Because this is God's creation. These are all his clues. And that's all it's saying. People who wrote these religions didn't have the benefit of knowledge that we have today. That's all it's saying. That's it. And that we reach conclusions, and that we make judgments based on these, and that life actually works. These are real things, and it gives you faith in a creator. That's what gives you faith in a creator, because you actually see it work. And I want to say hi to Teresa. How's it going? I seen you on YouTube and on Twitch. I want to say hi to Commander and Brenda. It's great to see you. And I agree, we should ignore all mainstream media. You know, I bring it on when I want to show what they're doing, but don't I just come in and tell you what they're doing too? Like with Sean Hannity, he didn't show you the full picture, but didn't I come in and tell you he was not fully representative of what happened, because Donald Trump was saying, oh, well, that's a mistake. And then he said, you know, because it was likely an error. Okay, so there's a slight difference in the way he portrayed that as a strong man rather than as somebody who's unsure, which is actually how it came off more in my view. And that's just being straightforward. So let us now move to this Jussie Smollett. And I want you guys to watch this clip, because I told you what my advice to him last time was, is he failed to love. But look what he failed to do. And I'll tell you what it is next after this clip.
That's right. Major developments in the Jussie Smollett saga. It continues. In the Jussie Smollett saga, it continues. A Cook County, Illinois judge is appointing a special prosecutor to investigate the handling of the case by Chicago's top prosecutor, Kim Foxx. As you remember, her office dropped all charges against the actor. It was a big surprise. He was accused of staging a hate crime attack on himself. It's tough to do. The judge saying that Foxx did not have the right to assign her top deputy to lead the case after she colloquially recused herself. In a statement, Foxx said that she disagrees with the judge's decision. So Emily, this is really fascinating, because you're a lawyer, you can explain this better, but I was wondering if there was some double jeopardy in here, but the special prosecutor said that no, they can reopen the case, and Jussie Smollett can be charged once again with all 16 counts, fewer or even more.
Yes, and anyone else that has been caught up in this can be charged as well. I want to point out for viewers a couple things. Number one, the Judge Tooman, came out swinging at Kim Foxx. He said essentially that the phrase she used, the acting state's attorney, the acting county's attorney, basically was made up in her imagination, and therefore, this is the important part,
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, because I want to make a point before the point's lost from her talking. And Jussie, you messed up again, man. That's twice in a row. First, you messed up because you made the error in the first place. You decided that because of your hate, and because you wanted a raise, and because you just really did not like Trump people very much. See, hate's very unhealthy, isn't it? That's why humility works every time. That's why you need humility. That's why you need to get rid of your triggers. It's like walking in traffic. It just causes you harm. Why would you do that? And so Jussie chose to walk in traffic in that way. And so he gets ran over. And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I get ran over. And you see this in life all the time. And it's like, duh, why would you be in traffic? And so he stages this attack out of greed, because that's what the world inspires. Not even totally Jussie's fault, but then again it is. It's like the whole world every day is saying, greed is great, we love greed, how great greed is. And then somebody does something based on greed, and we're like, they're such an awful person. Well, to me, they're just kind of doing what the world teaches them. But we have to rise above doing things wrong to each other, and that's what I don't like. And so there's reason enough to not like what he did. And you know what we really have to do? We have to ascend to a higher order of thinking, a better version of society, or we'll never get beyond these problems. I promise you that. It's just so true. And you're not going to get there at Trump. He's already promised us just by saying he's not going to give us health care for all. He's already said that now. That's a fact. And how do we know that? Because he's already criticized, saying, oh, and they're going to bring you this health care for all, and, you know, using the typical Republican arguments. The guy never even, he was campaigning on doing health care for all. It's why, in part, that I voted for him. So it turned out the biggest reason why I voted for him, or at least partly why I had faith, because Clinton was more likely to bring it in. But there are other reasons for Clinton that I don't even want to get into right now. But for this situation, Jussie, he really did wrong. And he got to his lower emotions. And so that's how he got into the trouble in the first place. And then he found this weird out. He got this weird out. It almost makes you wonder, wow, I wonder what happened behind the scenes there. All these weird, nefarious people involved. And now we were just speaking about Clinton a moment ago, an unrelated matter. And here we are now mentioning that it was people related to Clinton and somebody, whomever, or was it Obama maybe? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing is, it doesn't matter. People in high places, not the American people, that's for sure, not you and me, were allowing Jussie an out. And had he at that time taken the offering from the city to pay a fine and to accept guilt, he would have been humble and he would have been over this. Of course he would have been over this had he accepted that, because it would have been over in a public way, and that's the thing that it never ended. But Jussie, once again, just like so many people do, they choose the wrong way. It's what Donald Trump does. Everything's got to be about power. He can't say, oh, oops, sorry, I'm wrong. I erred. And that more important than me being right is that we are all correct for our lives. But instead, he was prideful. And he said, I was always right. And then Justice couldn't have that. And now look at where he stands. He stands to maybe have to deal with this again. So, you know, I always say humility is the way to go on these things. And I offer these tidbits of advice in our personal lives. Use them. Use them. I tell you, you may not need it right now. You might not need it until way later, some indeterminate time. But when you do need it, you will have it and you can use it. And you do use it. You don't go to pride first. You never go to pride first. Never. Pride is mostly best used for being proud of your children, for doing their homework, for doing the right thing. Never in areas where you want to just be better than, or because you were so great, your greatness. That's how we have big problems. Humility is always better there. You see, but then you do that and you can love yourself. People often confuse my love for myself as this fake pride thing that everybody else has, which is so completely ugly. But actually, I, as a happy healer, say I love me, and I love me whole, and I love me first, so that I'm truly strong and capable of loving everybody else to the 9th degree, to the 10th degree, to the beyond. Because when you love yourself, it makes you more powerful to love. And if you didn't love yourself, then they surely would not have had that high degree of love from you. And you wouldn't have loved them as much. You wouldn't have loved yourself as much. The world would be not a bright place, or is not as bright because of it. So that's why I say the things that we're talking about are built on solid foundations. They work, that we have to consider. And I told you I'll be offering advice as your happy healer for president 2020. We're going to be having to deal with truth. You can't run away just because there's truth. You have to be bold in the truth so that we can get to the right solution. Because every time you run away from the truth, oh, I'll just deal with it later. But then you don't. You know that's true. You really just, your coping mechanism is that you run. You need to stop running. And that you just stay firm in the truth. You don't allow the knowledge of the truth to destroy your peace of mind. You allow it to bring you peace of mind, because in the truth, you can make the right decisions, and that your coping mechanism is the love that you have for life and for your passions. And because now that you're onto truth, and that you can handle truth, and that how now truth can work for you in your life, and you can make better decisions, These are the kinds of things in this campaign we're going to be talking about, because truth is a big element. If I am the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, I will make truth one of the debate topics, because truth is under attack in so many ways in the media and in our lives, and even unfairly against the media and fairly against the media. Like today, I want to just give credit to the media. They actually, CNN gave credit to Trump for not attacking Iran, having made the decision to do it, but then going back and saying, oh no, I decided not to. And when I seen them do that, I seen them put country before politics. And that I was proud of. Good job, CNN. You know, you just have to give credit and love where credit's due. And that's how we'll get beyond this. And trust me, it'll just make like as if it never happened. And when we're stronger, it'll make it like we're happy it did, because we're stronger, and perhaps it was meant to bring this. So that's what we're trying to do. And the best thing in life is when you could turn bad things into positive things. Let's make America shine. We'll see you tomorrow night. God bless you, and God bless your families too.